Hey, welcome back to the workshop. So, my name's Josh, and this is my workshop. And today we're going to do a bit of actual work. Well, endeavour to do a little bit of actual work. Anyway, let me show you what this is. What we've got. This is 127mm by 127mm square. This is effectively 5-inch square. And this, can you tell what we're going to do yet? I'm sure you can, because it's probably the name of the video. But we've got this 4-inch square piece of timber here. We've got this cap here, and what we're going to do is we are going to create a custom Newel post cap that will have a cap on the top of it. Let me show you. Whoop. Oh, almost dropped it. So this is like a beehive. So that's going to sit on the top there like that. There we go. That's a bit better. So that's going to sit on the top there like that. Then we're going to bring this down to here, obviously sort all this out and cut it off around about this sort of area. The bottom's going to be here. We're going to have a rebate in here, like a mortise, so that this Newel post, it will sit on top of it, and then it's all going to be dowed and stuff like that. The client's going to sort this out. But yeah, so this section here, this is all decorative. This is going to take all of the weight of the banister and the stairway and everything like that. And then this is just going to sit on the top. What we're going to do is we've got some stop chamfers all the way around on all 4 sides. We're going to put a 45 degree all the way around here, a 45 degree all the way around on the bottom is what the client's requested. He's drawn this out. So what he's done is he lives in a beautiful house, and the previous owner of the house took this gorgeous gothic stairway made out of oak and covered it in hardboard. Like I've not seen it, but the client said he just stuck nails in left, right and centre all over and just absolutely wrecked it, which is amazing, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to sort the Newel cap out for the client. And he has gone round and he's painstakingly remade all of the balusters, balustrades, all that sort of nonsense. He's done all of that, and we're just giving him like the finishing touches basically. But the plan is I'm going to machine this section here, like these circles and that. I'll explain that in a second, on the CNC. Then we're going to use a router to do the stop chamfers. Obviously trim it down, make it all nice, and I think it's going to look good when it's done. But yeah, let's have a look. So what we've got here then is he wants this section here, this circular section, milled down 6mm, so 1/4 inch. And then these 3 circular sections, this will effectively make 1 unit. So you won't have these lines in the center. That'll be 6mm down from this. So this section, the base of this is going to be 12mm from the face of the material. This section is going to be 6mm from the face of this material. So yeah, I think that's going to look awesome when it's done. So should we get at it then? So first things first, what I've done is I've squared this up off of camera to make sure that it's all nice and beautifully finished. Don't worry about this, because this is obviously how it's come from the client when he's got his timber supplier to sort it out. We've just glued it, well, he's just glued it together and milled it down to the right width. All right then, so first things first, what we need to do is I need to create some sort of jig that the post can sit in, or the cap, or whatever it is that you want to call it. That needs to sit in here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put some like plywood L brackets on all 4 sides and find some way of clamping that in there to stop it wiggling around when I machine it. So we have the key here. It's inserted in the super special computer. Right, okay, there we go. Look, this is Mac 3, proper old school. Got the Newel post jig. And then over here you can see this is what we're going to do. We need to reset all our zeros. So we're going to, look, like magic. So we'll bring it down. We're going to set our 0 point, or our datum. Doesn't necessarily really matter because we're using a jig. That's what we'll do. So we'll set it there. So we 0 the Y, 0 the X. And then to 0 the Z, oh, it's a bit too low. Right, let me set you up and you can see. Okay, so this sits in here like that, and the computer knows the thickness of this because I've told it. And then we click the special button, and as soon as you touch it, close the circuit, job's good in. And then we go, we have our X, our Y and our Z all set. Next thing I'm going to do is do the idiot check. So obviously we've got our 3 controllers over here, the spindle. I need to make sure the spindle's up to the right speed. We need to make sure that the water cooling system, which is all of these pink lines here, that's running so that the spindle doesn't overheat. We've got everything set correctly, correct feed rate, files on all squared away. And obviously we come over here and we check to make sure we've got 3 green lights on the bottom here, and we've got our little red light. So everything's communicating, everything's sorted, everything's squared away, zeros are set, pumps running, time to turn the spindle on and get the jig sorted, yeah. So I had this warming up about 2.5. So we'll pop it on 10 for a second just to make sure that there's no blockages, because this is going to warm up real quick. Because we want to make sure that this is obviously going to warm up and that the water's going to cool it. So we'll let that run for a second, make sure the bearings are warmed up, make sure the water's flowing, and then we'll click go. Alright, Just turn it up to speed. I tend to go around about 17, 18,000 because that's just about what works. File's all loaded in, so we will click start. Go, look, perfect. So then, is this going to fit? Oh, look at that. Perfect, lovely job. So now, have you seen the video for my redneck dust collector using a cheapo Dyson vacuum cleaner? You should definitely check that out. So, as we said, right, oh, that fits perfectly in there. Nice and tight. So yeah, let's mark the bottom end and get that trimmed on the table saw. So we set this at 340, we're going to cut it, flip it, cut it, flip it, cut it, flip it, cut it. Obviously it'd be nice if I got a 12-inch sliding panel saw, but this will work for the time being. Doesn't matter too much about this side because it's going to fit in, and then we're obviously going to trim it down to about here ish, give or take a little bit further down, but yeah, so we'll trim it down there in a little bit. Yeah, okay, cool. So what we'll try and do is just see, look at that, we can get some movement in it. Might help if I nail this down again, but what we'll do is we'll just pop a little bracket on either side just to keep it stiff. We're only milling out this tiny section here, so I'm not too worried about it, but perfect fit, like it's made for it, isn't it, eh? So we'll try these bits of CLS scrap. We've got a bit of wiggle room, but I think we'll be right. We'll be right. So now what we'll do is we're going to manually set the Z height to 0. We're zeroed there. Perfect. What to be aware of is when you run a CNC, you set up like a safe, what you call a safe C clearance, right? So what that means is, if we say this is the bed or the face of the material, or like the machine bed, whatever, we sit there and say, right, the safe C clearance, that means that this will move up 5mm, 10mm, 15mm above the workpiece, and then as it moves, then it will go down, mill it, and then it will come back up to that 5, 10, 15mm, whatever. Because I'm working right at the extremity, right at the tippy top of what my machine can take without removing the spoil board and like the base, we've had to pop the router bit up there, needs must, and it's only like a tiny little bit that we're milling out. So we're going to run this now, do all 4 faces. Hopefully everything's going to work out perfectly, and then we'll take it off, trim it, and start doing the chamfer work. Right then, so I screwed that up, and in the interest of honesty and YouTube and all that nonsense I'm constantly preaching, let's have a look at what I did. What I didn't do was I didn't make sure that these bars here and the bottom of my gantry was going to clear the wood, which clearly you can see it's not. So what I'm going to do is I am going to trim out the MDF with the track saw, so probably back down to about here, and same on the other side. Scrap this because we need another one of these now. Pop this onto the baseboard, mill through this, and probably 5mm down there, which I should be able to do with that bit because that'll be a lot quicker. And then so the base of everything will be down to about here, which will give me this much additional room, which will be enough to clear that You know those jobs where you're like, right, I'm gonna get this done, get it sorted, make a video on it, make it look perfect and lovely and pretty, and then I'm gonna go home because I want to have tomorrow off. Well, we'll sort it out and I'll bring you back. Right then, so this is where we're at now. Obviously we've machined this out, we've machined the pocket out in this, and as you can see, we have enough clearance. You might be like, oh Josh, look at those bolts back there, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but hopefully we shouldn't come, like this is as far down this end as we should come, and the bolts are all the way back here. So we've got a good, I don't know, like 5mm clearance on it or something like that. So yeah, loads. I mean, like, got loads here as well now, loads here now as well. So now we'll run it and see if it works. Well, as if that wasn't a bit of a pain, but we've got it sorted, so let's show you what it looks like now. So there we go, top edge is all sorted and pretty. Obviously got all these fairies and stuff that need to get squared away in the centre here. Then we've got to put some sort of profile on here, and maybe a profile on this bit as well, I haven't decided yet. Now's the time to check my measurements, cut it at this section, then I'm going to chamfer these edges, or I might do these edges before I cut it down, so I've got some more to work with. So we're at the router table, got the 45 bit in, got the height set, give or take a little bit I think, but we'll do some test runs with it. I've got my in section, so we're going to put the board in, running against this edge, move it across to here, and then we'll pull it out. Obviously I need stops and I don't have anything, so I'm going to use a bit of super glue and masking tape, pop it on and glue it down. Same here. The other thing I've made sure I've done is I am square to the edge and square to the edge, just to make sure that we don't have any wiggling around. But yeah, let's get that done. So as with anything that I do, the important thing to remember is that you run test. And what I'm doing here now is I'm checking to see if my 45 chamfer bit, the bit with the bearing, the green one, is going to give me the right size chamfer, and to make sure that the in and out stop is going to work perfectly. Now, you don't see it on the video, but the in and outs don't work perfectly. They needed a bit of adjustment, and the 45 chamfer was only giving me a chamfer width of about 18mm, and I needed one of 22mm to meet the client spec. So you'll see in a second, I flip over to the yellow bit. But that is why it's super important to run tests on scrap timber before you get onto your main project, because if I'd just gone ahead and cracked on with it, I'd have ruined it. There we go, look. So it's a nice little chamfer on there, all uniform. The only thing I need to do, I don't know if you can see, but this edge is shorter than this edge, so we're just going to clean this out a little bit. We just got a picture of my hand. So we can clean this section out a little bit on each of them. So we've got a sharp chisel, we'll clean all that up. But the first things we're going to do is I'm going to check my measurements, so make sure that this measurement here is the same as this measurement here, draw my line over. Then we're going to cut this off on the table saw, get my other sled out, and then we'll use the sled to do the 45 chamfers on the tops and the bottom, and then we just need to clean it up, sand it down, get rid of all the furries, and we're done. Good, so that's looking good. You can see there's a little bit of misalignment on the saw, but the sled does move, and this is an old sled. This has got wet a couple of times, so it works fine for sheet goods, but when you're doing bigger things like this, it throws it off. But that's fine, I'll run the chisel across that and then sand it. This top end looked like that before, and it looks perfect now. So yeah, right, so next thing, 45s, and then once we've got the 45s, we'll size out the mortise, hog away with that, chisel it out, and we should be sorted. Well, and obviously clean everything up, sand it, make it look pretty. But yeah, getting there. So here we go then. This is, I guess don't break it. I guess this is the final piece that you can see how all the corners matching lovely. I've smoothed this off. I ran it through the router a couple of times. Ran it through this side and then ran it through that side just to square this off, or even this out I should say. And then I've smoothed this off. I think now it's time to get it sanded and finished. Hey, should we have a look? Right then. Sun shining. Oh, springtime and summer's on its way, and I'm so happy. Anyway, what do you think to that? Did you like it? Do you enjoy the little bit of a different video? Something like some actual work instead of just me talking nonsense. But yeah, you let me know what you think. Let me know if you like it. If you'd have done it a different way, please let me know, because every day's a school day and all that, and I love to learn different skills and different ways of doing things. So yeah, like I said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any ideas, let me know below. If there's anything you'd like to see me do or try about, you just let me know. All right, you take it easy, have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next one.